Punch is an ideal drink for a celebration. I'm Brian Johnson, and in this episode of Better Cocktails at Home, we're making the Bombay Government Punch. This is a punch that was created by David Wondrich, and I found it in his excellent book called Punch. And he kind of based it off of a recipe from the late 1600s called the Bombay Presidency Punch. So it's relatively easy to make, and it's all about kind of mixing the flavors and getting them just kind of the proportions right. Then it turns out to be very lovely though. And we're going to start making it right now. So to start with, the souring agent is lime juice. Now I've gone ahead and pre-juiced the limes, and I also double strained it to get any of the pulp out. And the nice thing about punch is you can prepare a lot of your stuff in advance. Now for this proportion I'm doing, which is good for about, we'll say 3-ish people, maybe 2 if you really want to have a nice night, maybe 4 if, you know, you're not going to have as much per person. So I'd say 2 to 4, with 3 being kind of ideal. We're going to do about 3 ounces of lime juice and add that into our punch bowl. Really, you probably want about the juice of 3 limes or so. And then to that, we're going to add a rich, like demerara syrup, which is a kind of sugar. You can also use like a natural raw, like turbinado type sugar, which I think is actually what I used here. And you want to be about the same. This is a 2 to 1. So this is 1 cup of sugar to half a cup of water. Heat that up. I don't like to get it to a boil. I like to heat it just to get it all mixed together. And we're going to want to do about the same proportion, about 3 ounces of this. And so I like mine on a little bit on the tartar side, so I'll probably do a little bit less than 3 ounces here. This is where your own personal preference comes into play. If you know you like it a little bit on the, more tart side, maybe cut back on this a bit. And then to this, we're going to add half a quart of black tea. Now, David Wondrich in his recipe, he kind of calls for water, but he also suggests if you like green tea or black tea in this case, you can. I actually prefer this punch with black tea, so that's what I like to use. So this is 1 quart in here, so I'm going to use about half of it. All right, it's pretty close. Now at this point, I like to kind of just mix it together a little bit before I add the spirit, the rum in this case. Just to incorporate them. Now I'm using Mount Gay's Eclipse rum here. This is, a rum I usually use in it because it's pretty on the cheaper side of rums. I think work well. There's a variety that would work in this punch. David Wondrich, I think he usually tries to make this with about half rum, half cognac. I generally do rum just because it's a little more economical, and I think it tastes really good as well. And I'm using Mount Gay Eclipse here. This is kind of the beauty of it. It's pretty flexible. Like, if you have this, if you got a bottle of like Appleton Jamaican rum, I think that would work as well. So, kind of whatever you have on hand as far as the rums go. You don't need to go too fancy. And I'm going to do about half a bottle of this. Yeah, maybe a little touch more. Okay. Now we want to stir this together, make sure we get it nice and incorporated. At this point, you want to taste your punch just to see how the flavors are turning out. I'm pretty happy with where this is at right now. And so ideally, you would take this once you've got it mixed together, put it in your fridge for about half an hour to an hour, just let the flavors really marry together, and also to help chill it down. Once you've done that, pull it out and add ice. So we're going to pretend that I've already put this in the fridge for a bit. And I like to add a couple of nice big chunks of ice to it. That way it doesn't get too diluted, and it also chills it down at the same time though. And then once you add those in, this will help chill the drink a little bit, or the punch a little bit faster. And if I let this sit out for the proper amount of time, it'd be a much colder punch than it is currently, but that's okay for the sake of our show. And the final garnish on that is nutmeg. You really want to use a fresh nutmeg and a grater, just because it's just the aromatics of it are just delicious and just wonderful. I like to spread that over the top of the drink, do the punch. I do a pretty healthy amount, not a ton, but enough that pretty much everybody's gonna get a little bit in their glass. At this point, you're ready to serve. That's the best part. Yeah, I love this punch. It's just it's very simple to make, but it's got some kind of complex flavor to it. Obviously you get the black tea coming through quite a bit. The lime juice and the simple syrup kind of balance it a little bit, and then you get, depending on what rum you use, you kind of get more flavor. If you're using like a Jamaican, you get a little more funk to it. Something like this is kind of on the a little bit milder side as far as rums go, and it's just a really nice flavor, and I really love it a lot. It's unfortunate that punches have kind of fallen out of favor the last few hundred years, because they're great. Like they're simple components, and they taste amazing. You can easily serve people. I mean, part of punch is having this communal bowl where everybody kind of serves themselves, and it's just a fun thing to do. It kind of comes out at holidays nowadays, and people usually make disgusting things with lime ice cream and all that stuff, and 7-Up. When you have something like this, it's just so much more tasty. And because they really are, they're amazing, and they're so perfect for people to make at home. That's why I think it's very fitting that we're filming this. It's our 50th episode. We've been doing this for one whole year now, and hopefully, we've kind of shown over that course of the year what you can do at home, how great cocktails can be. And one of the things I think is really cool about this punch in particular is, one, the economy of it. Really all the ingredients are pretty cheap, and depending on how much you spend on your rum, you can make this for very low cost, but the flavor is just so amazing. And then if you look at all these ingredients on their own, we just have lime juice, black tea, simple syrup, and a rum. If you take any of those by themselves, and it's just kind of what they are, but you put them together in a punch in the right proportions, and it becomes this delightful concoction that's just great to serve in groups, and it's just so much fun. So, this is kind of what I hope to, bring to you through the show, is just showing you the amazing flavors you can get without being too complex, and stuff you can do in your own homes. And so, with that, we have a ton of fun making this show. It's not just me. The person behind the camera is my wife, and she does an amazing job. Without her, we really could not do this as well as we do. And without you guys watching, we would have no audience, and we'd just be making videos for the sake of making videos. So really look forward to doing more videos and more videos on punch, and just kind of expanding it in the next year. So keep watching, and that's how you make the Bombay Government Punch.